Presented to you by Talking the Line Sports Media, a sports gambling podcast by bettors for bettors, connecting you with the brightest, sharpest, and most electric personalities in all the sports gambling industry. So as always, pull up a chair, open up your mind, and get ready to receive knowledge you won't find anywhere else. We can't thank you enough for joining us, and we hope you enjoy. This is Wise Words. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and beautiful gambling people joining us for Season 3, Episode number 5 of the Wise Words Podcast. Hey, you know the drill. I am your humbled, honored, and hyped, and always handicapping host, Colt and Colt Soroka, and I can't thank you enough for choosing to stop by and get some of the best insights and analysis and knowledge on the market from some of the brightest, sharpest, and most electric personalities in all of the sports gambling industry and beyond. Now, my friends, I'm honestly not even going to waste any breath that I want back on my deathbed here today because I am so excited to get into the conversation with this man that is gracing us with his presence here today. Now, he is one hell of a busy man as well, so I'm getting after it. Now, I did have an opportunity to bump elbows with him when I was out in Las Vegas, the beautiful, sunny Sin City, when we were out there for March Madness, but finally got another extra time to connect with him here, so I am absolutely juiced. But you know the drill. I got to tell you a little bit about the man first. He is an absolute legend in the space, so much of a legend that he's been cashing tickets for the better part of a decade. Now, he was just doing it on the side. Little hobby, nothing major, until an absolutely electric run in college football one year forced him to take things just a little bit more serious. Now, he's shaking his head down there, so I believe I'm on the right track. Now, he's been handicapping and cashing tickets professionally now for about 5 years, and in my opinion, he's one of the go-to resources of information and for picks in this industry. But if you don't want to take my word for it, just believe a couple of cold, hard facts. This year, actually, he put up an outstanding 56.4% bankroll increase on college basketball plays. He was the number one handicapper last year, 2020 and 2021, in NBA plays with an 81.35% bankroll increase. He's currently on a 55.55% bankroll increase since February 1st on NBA plays, and he's hitting over at a 60% clip on his last 144 NBA plays. I don't know what else I need to say, but clearly we have plenty to dive into here today. But without further ado, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, as always, it is my honor and pleasure to welcome in NBA, CBB, CFB, NFL, and MLB sports betting expert at Sports Memo, co-host of The Predictive Playbook with friend of the show, Mr. John Ryan, big brain flexer, and certified ticket casher, my friend, Mr. Ronald Cabang.
Man, that intro is wild. You did your research. I didn't know you would know about that NFL thing, that college football thing. That was a huge run that I had in Reddit, and that really kind of propelled me into what I am today. So that's a dope thing.
Hell yeah, man. I definitely wanted to give you the floor and an opportunity to talk about that. I did a little research on the back. I was like, damn, he got his start in Reddit. Like, I've heard some of those stories and going on a hot run. So that's awesome, man. Ronald, thank you so much for stopping by, hanging out with me today, providing your insights, my friend. How's everything on your end of the world, buddy?
Man, it's been a crazy ride, especially this year. I got some big news coming out this week. Hoping to share that out on Twitter and a whole new channel, YouTube channel. So, man, the future is bright here with UCapper right now. I'm super excited.
Clearly, I'm ready to take some notes. I got some extra paper over here. Maybe a little birdie told me what that big announcement is. Maybe by Wednesday, when this episode drops, we are recording on
Yes,
Monday.
sir.
Everybody knows what's up. So I'm hyped. I am all behind you, brother. I am so juiced for you. I can't wait to see you go down this path. But right here, right now, I want to know a little bit about your backstory. Now, I know we talked about your start in sports gambling, kind of Reddit. I want you to give a little bit more onto that. And then maybe kind of your background in some kind of what got you into sports, what kind of got you into sports
Mhm.
gambling. I know a little bit, but would love to hear that as
Yeah.
well. I mean, what has presented the legendary U Capper in our presence today?
Yeah, man. I think so. As far as background, I didn't really grow up with much. My parents didn't speak English. I'm Filipino, and I hated school. That was one of the biggest things is I hated school. So I didn't even go to college. I didn't graduate. I don't have a degree or anything like that. What I did was, typical Filipino thing to do was get into healthcare. So the quickest way was to be a pharmacy technician, and that's what I did. I went to school for a year, got into healthcare through pharmacy technician, but I got married and I found out I was going to be a dad, and I was like, man, this is not going to pay the bills. This is not gonna. This is not gonna be where it's at right now. And a buddy of mine was like, "Yo, you should try sports betting. I know you're into sports. You've been playing basketball your whole life." And that was really where it kickstarted. But I mean, like most people, we struggle. I struggled in the beginning. I didn't know what I was doing. You think you know sports, you think you know basketball, you think you know all these players, and then you get into this betting space and you're totally lost, dude. I mean, luckily I was betting like 10, 15, $25 a game at the time, and that was really, not much. But as a competitor, you just hate losing. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
that's the biggest thing. So I did probably what most people did, go to Google and YouTube, how to fucking win at sports betting. You know what I mean? That's what it was. And I came across SDQL, and that thing blew my mind. I didn't have any technical background at the time. I don't even think I opened an Excel document at the time. At that point, I didn't know anything about data, but I was just so determined to win, not just for myself, not just for sports betting, but for my family.
Right.
That's that thing where you have to strive or have a goal, to bring that passion into life, and to succeed. And that's what it was. It's my family. So that that's pretty much how I got into sports betting, and just being a short-term loser, you know, bringing that competitive nature into it, and now becoming a winner. And really, it's about learning every day and getting better every day.
I love that, man. I can already tell you we're going to have one hell of an episode here today. We are definitely of the same mindset on the same wavelength for sure, my friend. So, one hell of a time. You kind of mentioned it here. You one hell of a time to ask this question, rather. You kind of mentioned it as far as your start in the space and being a short term loser, and then now really growing into UCAPper and being somebody who can really be looked at in the space. Because obviously, that's how I found you, man. And now I'm honored
Yeah.
to be able to call you a friend and somebody I look up to in the space. So let me ask you this. First things first, what is your number one piece of advice for that first time better that we know everything's becoming legalized now, right? Like they just
Yeah.
downloaded XYZ sports book, ready to hammer in plays left, right, and center. What's your number
Yeah.
one piece of advice for that person, but also that daily degenerate like me and you can handle hearing from time to time?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just think long term, not short term. We kind of get blinded by like the immediate satisfaction, from winning a game or a parlay. I don't do parlays often, but I mean that's what people are really big now on Twitter that I see. But that immediate satisfaction really is not the goal. It's to be a winner long term. You want to last in this space, because if you don't manage your bankroll, if you don't do things properly, you're going to be out of sports betting, and you're going to end up chasing and doing all these things. And this is like James. I don't know if you know James Clear, but this is a
Mm.
quote from James Clear. You should be far more concerned with your current trajectory than your current results. And to me, that's the biggest thing in sports betting space right now, is especially being on this side of it, is someone that people follow and get information from. Gambling Twitter is all about, what have you done for me lately? You
Hmm.
could be 60% your last 100 plays, but if you're at 30% your last 10, all of a sudden you're washed. I mean, somehow that's what gets called out. Not the fact that you're a long-term winner. I mean, to me, the goal is just to get better and learn every day. I mentioned that earlier. Just get better and learn every day, little by little. You're going to learn from the losses and just adjust accordingly. Learn from the people who are successful. Just don't be afraid to ask questions, because that's what I did to get better as well. Mainly, it's just a long term approach, man. That's going to get you further in sports betting, and probably just in life in general. Really, forget your current streaks, forget your results, your current results. Look at your trajectory from a 500-foot level. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's gonna appreciate your growth even more so than anything.
Absolutely, my man. I love that. I didn't even have to ask you the second part of that question. You already gave me the life response to it too, man. I appreciate you so much. Like, I love that response. A quote that comes to my mind, just the tail end of a quote, was something you said. There's, we all know a person aiming at nothing is sure to hit it. So being more concerned with where, not where you're at, but where you want to be, and actually
Yeah,
what you're aiming. And maybe if you are on a bad streak, because hey, you said 30%. Yo, if I'm 30% in the batter's box, I know you're an MLB guy. I'd be pretty fucking ecstatic, you know? Like 300 in the box is pretty dope. So, yo, like, give me
yeah,
one day, right? Like, even a blind dog is right twice a day type of thing, right? Like, I'll be bad one day, but I promise you I'll be back the next day. So, I love that, man.
yeah,
It is all about long term and manage your money. And if you guys out there, you don't like listening to my face and tell you what exactly what he just said. Listen to him. He's a professional. He knows what he's doing here. I'm on the way up through the professional ranks. Wise words. That's the reason it's below him. Nothing but wise words over
yeah,
there. So, Mr. UCapper, I appreciate you for that answer there. Kind of on that same wavelength, and maybe it can kind of be the same, but I think there's maybe even a different angle you can attack, and I don't know what that is, but I like asking this question too. What, and you even said like, yeah, when I was early in the game, I did a lot of losing. I had no idea what was going
yeah.
on. So what is one mistake, if you can pull one out, what is one mistake that you used to make early on in your gambling career that you've been able to now absolutely correct? Or and I guess, or maybe another mistake that somebody else or you're seeing them commonly make. Just what is that
Mhm.
main thing that you saw, and then really how have you been able to correct it?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's about kind of forgetting everything you know about sports itself. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because sports, when you're playing sports, it's a different angle than actually betting on sports. So what you know as far as how to play the game, it doesn't relate to sports betting at all. And that's what I thought. I mean, I played basketball growing up. You know, I played AAU, I played high school, and understanding how the game is played really doesn't take effect the line. You know, you're not expecting to win by a certain margin. You're just going out there to play the game. So learning about, I mean, understanding how to play the game and betting on sports is totally different. You're gonna have to learn the psychology of it as well.
mm,
That was one of the biggest things that I learned from a few people that that I asked questions to, is the psychology of sports. You never really think about you know how coaches look at these games, how the players look at these games from game to game, who you playing before, who you playing after, how you want to take on the current game. Just like when we talk about when we deep dive into these basketball games, sometimes we were like, all right, well, this team, they just want to come in and win. They don't care about winning by 12. They just want to win because they got a key game coming up ahead. Those are the type of things that I didn't think about in the beginning,
right.
um, and you just have to kind of learn from that. Though that for me, that's probably one of the biggest things that helped me kind of grow in sports betting is the whole psychology part of it, and understanding and looking at the game from a different angle that I knew previously.
I 150% with attest with everything that you're saying. It's honestly why I got involved in the space because like I made a couple of bets before it was even legal in Illinois and like on a couple of the offshore books and it was just I was a losing better and I was like, okay, there's a reason why I just lost. Like I had this all cooked up in my mind why this was, and I started really checking out the psychology of the bets and why the books were doing
Mm,
what they were doing, and that's why I got
yeah.
into it. And then much like you, and I guess a hell of a segue here, I was all about the numbers, all about the analytics. Asking kind of how it's helped you segue into a professional career in sports gambling.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like I mentioned, I didn't have a technical background, so learning SDQL actually got me into the career that I currently am in, which is data and analytics and data visualization and things like that. And that there is such a huge thing, because now I can take what I learned from SDQL, apply it to my job, and looking, and I'm in healthcare in that space, right? So now I'm looking at all these data points where there's like multiple hundred data points in healthcare. We're looking at so many things. I can go back and apply that now to sports betting. It goes hand in hand, and
Right.
I can't imagine where I'd be without actually working in data and analytics and healthcare, because I look at so much information. Now I can apply that and create different type of metrics and all these things over on this side. That was probably another huge piece of me growing as well. Is really applying healthcare data and analytics to sports. I mean, it's really crazy to think about two separate things, but when you look at data, it's really certain. You're able to pinpoint trends. You're able to
Hmm.
pinpoint metrics that you want to create on your own that other people don't think about, that could affect the game. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I came out of it.
I love that, man. I truly am just I am a nut for numbers. I that's the best way that I can put it, man. I mean, any model that I can find, any analytics I can find. You talked about those trends, man. I'm known as the trend guy from time to time. I co-host, guest appear on the Midday Market Report, Jeff Dawson's show, East Coast Sports Investors, and
Dope.
we talk about that all the time. So I'm all about trends. I'm all about diving into the recency and recency bias and positive regression. I love talking about positive regression. Everybody's just head spin like, what? How can you positively regress? I'm like, well, there's a mean there that they were below and they're going back to that. So
Yeah, yeah,
I love it. I love analytics, and the crazy part is I used to hate that stuff in college. Like I didn't want to the
yeah.
mean median mode. Just get me out of this stuff. And now I absolutely love it in sports gambling. So, dude, I love where your head's at, and I love how you brought that into this space. So that's awesome. Kind of along that same track, because I'm sure it might be a part of your answer here in this next question, but I don't want you to give away your whole capping process and all your
Yeah.
models and where you go and look. And hey, we got to keep a little secrets around here. I understand. I understand. Now, with all that being said, I know NBA is your specialty, man. I know you absolutely kill it. I said it in your intro. I've been following you for a long time in that regard, especially with John Ryan, too, Predictive Playbook, good
Yeah.
friend of the show as well. When you're looking at NBA, what are some of those key things you look, or maybe even those psychology points that, like, oh, the books are setting me up here today? What are some of those key things you
Yeah.
look at?
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with rest. A lot of it looks at a schedule,
Hmm.
who you're playing currently, who you're going to be playing against, who you previously played, the results, previous results, with similar teams, and like a lot of people talk about revenge games. Recently, that's a big thing that's popped up a lot. That's also key, because you want to see how teams adjust, with previously losing or previously winning against a specific team. That's pretty much the bigger pieces of it, and then you want to look at current streaks, current form, because obviously if you compare current form versus full season form, you're going to see a little bit of a variance there, right? So
Hmm.
do you want, like you said, like a positive regression? Are they going to be able to come back up to where they were previously? Were there injuries? What affected them to go back? Like if you talk about like the Bulls, right? Dead last in defensive rating in the last 5-10 games.
Thanks for
Uh,
reminding
but
me too.
they but they were a strong defensive team earlier in the season when they had Lonzo Ball and a healthy Caruso. You know what I mean? So there's things that you want to look into and think about. So there's more than just numbers here. You know what I mean? Like there's a psychological aspect of it. There's really things that you can't like you don't really think about. Who
Hmm.
did they play? Why? There was another team that I bet on not too long ago. They played like the Blazers twice and the Rockets once in a 5 game span.
Hmm.
So their offensive rating numbers shot up. You know what I mean? So you got to think about that. And then they play again a key contender, and all of a sudden, people are thinking they're going to cover by like 5 points. That's not going to happen. They got blown out. I forgot what game it was, but I
Hmm.
I remember that was the analysis that I took into that
That's
game.
awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, so there's really a lot to think about.
Hmm.
And as far as like, I know people, talk about systems and trends, for me, it really is systems first and then trends after. That's how I run it. As far as my capping process, people might do it another way. But I mean, just to remind everyone, there's really a lot. There's many ways to win, really, but not a lot of ways to lose. As if you can avoid those ways to lose, just making bad decisions and just kind of blindly doing things, then you're gonna be successful. To me, that is another big thing. Is just it, people have strong feelings of how they cap games,
Hmm.
but there's really no one way to do it. If you're winning and you have that process locked down, don't change for other people just because they say it's the wrong way to do it.
Yeah, 150%, man. And I like how you said definitely those models and those systems before the trends. It's
Yeah.
definitely something to look into as well when you do that. Because a lot of our guests, I don't want to say almost all of our guests, but a lot of our guests have said that in the past, that really what took their sports gambling to the next level was creating those models, creating that predictive analysis that I have this line at 7 and it's giving me 4. I got to take this right now, 150% the
Yeah.
favorite all day. So I love where you went with that. I love everything you said. I mean, just really solidifies like what the long-term bettors in this space do. What it just really
Mhm.
does. And I mean, I love your response, man. So definitely you see it over there at you underscore capper. I don't know. Maybe give him a follow. Maybe he has some updates coming. Maybe you probably want to follow along with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Who am I? I'm not shit yet. Who knows? All that being said, my man, absolutely appreciate that answer. I got a couple other things for you. Nothing too major, and we'll get you on up, get you on out of here, get you a little extra time to reset before you go on to the next phase of the day. What the third quarter of the day, I think it is for you at this point in time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to dribble out the clock for sure. But all that being said, my man, switching gears just a little bit. I know you cap MLB from time to time. I do too. I get heavily involved in the first five markets and some of the K prop markets.
Mhm.
Is there anything specific that you look at, or what type of trends, or what type of markets do you kind of really try to target in the MLB as far as value wise?
Yeah, I think initially years ago when I first started betting baseball, I was really just full game better.
Mm,
Full game money line, full game spread, full game totals. But over time, I really got into what you mentioned. The first five, and this year too. This year, I'm really diving into props.
mm,
Historically, even in NBA, I haven't been a prop better. But like I said, mentioned earlier, learning, asking questions every day, and getting better every day. I come to the understanding that, man, prop market is where it's at right now. It really is, and I'm just gonna continue learning that space, especially this year. One of my guys, Kevin, that I've known for a long time, he got me looking into total bases and
ooh,
in baseball. So that's one thing that I'm gonna be diving into. I don't typically bet MLB in the first couple of weeks because obviously I'm a data guy now, and I need to have some of that under me before I can put most of my plays in. But I do have systems in place that I'm running currently. Just to make sure, over year, when there's adjustments to the game, there's rule changes, there's
mm,
anything like that. You want to run if you have systems that go over time. Like I have systems that have run for like 5+ years. I just want to make sure that they're currently moving in the same trajectory that they were in the previous years. If they start out the season, um, you know, 1 in 10. I mean, obviously, but the previous year it was hitting at a 60% clip or whatever it might be.
right.
Obviously, you just want to make sure it's still there. It's still going in the same direction. So that's why the reason why I don't really bet baseball MLB until 2 or 3 weeks into the season. But definitely, I'm going to be into the prop market heavily this season as well. But mainly first five and full game is pretty much what I've been doing previously.
Yeah, man. I'm spot on there with you. I did not used to bet the props in MLB at all. And then I realized, like I'm sure you did after you see you, because I have one system that I kind of use across the board for just about anything. I'm really trying to develop that. That is the next layer of my sports gambling career that I'm really trying to enact. But I'm really a numbers guy and really that psychology. And all right, why is the book setting this like this? And okay, did this line drop down because this is Fugazi sharp money or not? But like I always try. That's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm really trying to refine those systems, and I've really been noticing that sometimes in the prop market, man, you can look and it's just like, wait a minute, that's not even close to the value that should be on like Kyle
Exactly.
Kyle Hendricks opening day. I had him at 5Ks easy, 5.33, and I said. He's at 3.5, and I'm getting plus money to take the over. Like I think he at least gets the 4. He got 7. I said, wait,
Yeah.
what? Well, I'm gonna keep playing this doggone thing. So you're so right, man. It just takes finding those little things, running those systems, and that's really what'll help you in the long run. And then bringing it full circle to what we talked about earlier, it's playing that psychology of the books and why
Yeah.
is this line like this? Is this 30% ticket split to
Mhm.
80% handle split? Is that all the sharps coming out of the woodwork and backing their
Yeah.
Brinks trucks up to the book, Westgate Superbook, and taking them all down? Or is that just some dummy that dropped a bag and it's just fake money? So it is
Yeah.
all things you can look at for sure that I'm sure you can definitely attest with too.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on to that, like you mentioned, really, it's all about you. I know people have their systems in place and all that stuff, but most of the time, you don't really want to blind tail them, especially if they're like they're heavy as far as like plays per day, because you want to make sure you see these system plays that pop up, and then you're just like, all right, does this make sense? Why is it going in this direction? Why is this play the right play to do it? Play to bet. I mean, really, why is the biggest question when these systems pop up. So that's a really great thing to add right there, Colton.
Yeah, Ronald, and I said that too, man. I actually said that on my show today, time of recording on Monday. As just as far as really attacking it from that angle, and I just, man, I love how you close that there for sure. That's definitely something that's a key piece there. So, yeah, man, definitely betting MLB can be fickle, as I'm sure you know. Betting in NBA can be fickle as well. It's
Oh,
really just back and forth, and like even as many of the systems you run, as many of the oh yeah, hey, here's my number, here's exactly what I have, like it can be totally wrong from that. So going back to what I said on my show, as far as hey, I raised my hand and said sometimes I'm not going to be the best capper out there. Sometimes maybe you should take stock of, yo, Colt's system sucks on Tuesday. I said that during the college basketball season. It's a crazy shit. Super Tuesday, my numbers would be bananas. The dogs would, I had green, yellow, pink, blue, every color lighting up on my screen. And I'm like, nah, come on. It happens every week, Colt. They do the opposite. The system don't work on Tuesday. And I would just keep doing it. And I literally would come to the show and I say, hey, everybody, here I am telling you I'm playing this system again, and I went down 2.5 units last week on this system. We played it all the way back, and we're up positive, but it happened
yeah.
again on Tuesday. So just how you said that, man. There's just so few people who will be transparent about that, and it's so true, man. Like we will have a bad week from time to time or a bad day from time to
Mhm.
time. So I'm so glad that's how you close that, man. So I went blank there for a minute. I'm glad I was able to bring that all the way full circle. So hosting abilities 101 there, my friend. So all that means they see I'm a fully transparent guy. You guys didn't even know that, and then I told you. So that's why I'm meant for this industry. Always transparent. All that being said, I'm always looking up to people. I'm always trying to find other angles, other areas that I can learn and grow and become better from, right? So that's kind of one of the reasons why I started Wise Words, to really connect with people I looked up to in the industry and honestly get their knowledge and selfishly become a better and a better human at the end of the day for me, while also helping other people do that too. So
hmm
who's kind of been that person for you, Ronald? Who has been a few of those people in the industry that have helped you really grow?
Yeah, man. Man. I can't even. There's a laundry list of dudes, man. Like obviously
Hmm.
Ski Profit.
Shout out.
He's one big guy that I think I followed him when he didn't have a lot of followers at that time, but he just grew so quickly. I think there's a lot of guys, Jay Money, Shark,
Hmm.
and these two guys here that I just met this year. They've actually helped me grow a lot within the year as well. Um, and I've been doing this for a long time. they made an immediate impact in how I cap games. Ralph Michaels, he's a SDQL guy. He's the one that helped me get into Sports Memo. Um, Really, there man, I can't even call everybody out really, but there's yeah, those are some of the key guys that I could like off the top just think about that have helped me. But in the beginning, really, it was just me, myself, and I just the motivation to get better every day. um Asking questions to just random people, that I see, like why did you bet it this way, and things like that. Just kind of just understanding the thought process, and like you said, kind of trying to understand different angles that people think about that you don't know on your own. And one cool thing now that I've seen is spaces on Twitter. One guy named Chris B. Capin and Finesse, they host NBA spaces every day, and these guys that I never heard of, obviously cappers like myself, you probably, we're so focused on our game and how we cap the game that we don't know a lot of these other people, that who are so smart and should
Mm,
be noticed. You know what I mean?
mm,
But spaces, just hopping into these spaces, I'm seeing there's so many more knowledgeable people out there than there was before. And I think there's a lot of people that just don't get credit enough, um, for what they bring to the table. And in these spaces, I've heard so many people come up with some great ideas, some different angles that I never even thought of. And I've been doing it for 10 plus years or whatever it might be. And other people who have done it for even longer probably could learn from these guys that are coming up and new to this space. Just it's just kind of like, those fresh eyes. They're coming into here, learning different angles, different tactics, and things like that to deep dive into games. Man, it's crazy right now in gambling Twitter, and I love it because guys like those guys opening up these spaces every day, just bringing positivity. Like you mentioned, we talked real briefly before this, is just spreading positivity is so key right now, especially in this space. And you just want to surround yourself with people like that.
mm.
And that, I mean, that's the biggest thing that I could take away from that. But yeah, man, there's just so many people to thank, and along the way, as far as helping me become a better capper.
100%, man. I know when I start to think about that, like who has helped me along the way and who I should thank in my network, goodness gracious, it's a laundry list for me as well,
Yeah,
my
it's
man.
crazy.
But you mentioned a name, hey, I got to get him on the show. Like, hey, I've had my boy Ski on here, our boy Ski. I hooked up with him in Vegas as well. But I was seeing this legend. I'm talking about the man was dripping off of his doggone neck, and he had these doggone glasses that I could see myself from a mile away. And like
Yeah.
the man had this presence. He had that chin up, chest out presence that I like. Hey, I like to carry myself the same way. I said, damn, I gotta talk to this guy. But every time I went to talk to him, he was busy as hell. And then I find out it's this guy, J Money is Money. So I've been following what y'all been doing. I love what you guys are doing over there. It is absolutely electric. Hey, shout out Jay. I gotta get you on the show, man. Absolute blast and a half. Been seeing what you guys are doing over there too. So, yeah, man. I wanted to give a shout out to him. And honestly, a lot of the names, all the Sports Memo family, everybody, really honestly that you said, man, because that really at the end of the day is what it's about, is your network and also spreading that positivity. I've followed you into a couple of spaces here last few weeks. I see you pop into one of those NBAs. I'm like, oh, hey, let me pop in with Ronald, see what he's got to say. And like, yeah, you got some great stuff. And there's guys I've never heard of that have amazing stuff. And there's shows all
Yeah.
over like this that have just such good quality information that if just given one simple opportunity, like those people could just blow open a whole other world in this
Yeah, for
space.
sure.
So yeah, man, I attest with it all that spreading positivity in this space is so critical right now.
Yeah,
150%.
100%. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. So all of that encompassing. Now, trying to see if there's anything I didn't get to ask you, man. I like literally, I love when we have just like open conversations. Like I write down questions that I think I want to ask, and then the conversation just goes down that rabbit hole. I don't even have to like, I don't even have to think about it, man. Like sometimes it's just like I get a guest on the show, and it's like, all right, come on, here we go. We're gonna do this show. No, man, you're just sending it along for me. Like I got questions cooked up, and you're already answering them. So thank you so much, Ronald, for stopping by, for your insights, for everything in between. We ain't wrapping up quite yet, but I want to give you the floor a couple more times. But just from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, man, and appreciate all your insights and everything you've shared today, because I think you have some really awesome opinions and analysis too. Clearly, with what you're about to do with your life. So awesome. Again, congrats to you, man, and thanks for being here.
No, I appreciate it, man. This show is dope because I watched a lot of the shows previously, right before, when we were talking previously, like after Vegas when I met you, I it was crazy because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know who you guys were at the time,
Yeah, yeah.
but I saw everybody coming to you guys like they knew who you were, so I asked them, I was like, all right, who are these guys? Like it's
Right.
like they're part of the family, but I didn't know who you guys were, and then so after that, I watched a lot of the shows. I love what you guys do. I love what you do. I love the message that you spread. I love how you're really just trying to help people grow in a positive manner. It's really just great to see. There's not a lot of people like you out there that's doing this, and it's really needed in this space.
Thank you, brother. I don't do it for a participation trophy or hey, I noticed you do that. I do it. I do it to change one life, one person, move a thought, move a muscle, whatever the case might be. Like, and I'm glad it's noticed because it's what I do it for. I just do it to make an impact. Yeah, it's my passion. I love sports gambling. I love bankrupting books. Don't you get it twisted. I'll rip the souls out of the bookies far and wide. I don't care. But at the end of the day, yeah, man, it's so hard to find in this space, and like you said, you just started watching content, and like like I would see like, oh damn, I really like this. Like, what if I took this and like, wow, I think I could
Hmm.
make something really cool. So yeah, man, I appreciate that. That's what I try and do, and I hope I can continue to be a light in the space, and I think you are as well, man, because not a lot of people think like that and can have a 35-minute conversation on this level. So closing question, and then I'll give you the floor so we can get all of your updates and everything cool, however many
Yeah,
Easter eggs you want to give out. This is the final question. This is a question I always like to ask to all of our guests, and because I like to connect with a lot of cerebral guys and gals in the space. So I asked you kind of this track or this along the sports gambling lines. This is just straight life, and you kind of took it there, which is the funniest part in the beginning. But
yeah.
straight life, anything in between. What's your number one piece of advice? Someone trying to crack into sports gambling, trying to open up a YouTube channel and start doing some type of content creation, or somebody open up a brick and mortar facility, somebody chasing a dream or a passion, just like you were one day, just like I was one day. What's your number
Yeah.
one piece of advice to that person?
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, it's passion. Passion is a big thing, and really, the next step after passion is just to do it. People get really scared and think about, they're in that planning phase for a lot of the times for like years. They're planning. This is what I'm gonna do, but if you don't actually take the steps to do it, you're not really gonna get anywhere. You know what I mean? Like that.
Mm,
That's the biggest thing for me that I've seen from a lot of people. And really I was stuck in that phase as well. And like you said, Easter eggs type of things and things that, yeah, like you mentioned. I mean, I mean, like obviously your story too. I mean, that's gonna be where I'm gonna be at pretty soon. Um, like this is just gonna be a phase in my life that I'm really excited for. Obviously, you were excited for this time too. You just gotta look ahead, take the steps to do and follow your passion, and really kind of trust yourself. You know what I mean? Like if you're not ready, you're not ready. But make sure you plan for a specific period of time. But once you're done, you gotta actually do it. Your plan's not gonna be 100% foolproof by the end of it before you take any steps. You're gonna learn along the way, just like when just like when we're sports betting, right? We struggled in the beginning, but we adjusted, got better, and learned every day. That's what you're gonna do, as far as like following your passion. And for me and for you, obviously, it's this space here, and we're both gonna continue to grow. And I can see it just being positive
mm.
and how you interact with people. I can see you're gonna go really far. Like man, I just I appreciate what you do, and what you bring, like I said, what you bring to the table.
Thanks,
And
man.
this show specifically, it's gonna affect a lot of people in a positive way. Not only just becoming better at sports betting, just but a lot of these things could be applied to life, like you mentioned. It's just these are things that people need to learn, listen, and understand. If you have the right mindset, you're gonna get people with the right mindset listening to this show, from all the people that are being successful in sports betting, they're gonna go a long way, and it's gonna be because of this show.
150%. And that's not only because of me, man. I appreciate your kind words, but it's because of legends like you and people that are willing to take their time and step out of their usual comfort zone and their usual bubble of, hey, I'm only a wager talker, oh, I'm only a FanDuel, or whatever the case might be, or sports memo in your case, whatever, and being willing to step out of that comfort zone and just like, hey, this is a real version of me. I get up in the morning and I put my legs in my pants the same way you do. So like I'm a real life
Yeah,
human being. That's what I always say, man. We're all humming beans on a big floating rock in the middle of nothingness at the end of the day. So like, hey, when we all
yeah,
look at it like that, like it gets a lot easier. But I guess three closing things for me, not really three, just three words, but one key point. And you really just talked about success there and just kind of like persevering and continuing to push through and finding that success in your life. And the three things for me are just delusion, persistence, and gratitude. And that's what I've always found is just believing that you're the best, even if you don't know that you are yet, even if nobody knows that you are yet, having that persistence, continuing to push through regardless of what's in your way, and just staying grateful that even if the only thing you can be grateful for that day is like another breath, another, hey, I woke up, then you got
yeah.
shit going on. So I love it, man. We're definitely on the same wavelength. I'm glad, again, like I said, that we crossed paths, that we were able to meet each other out in Vegas. But I'm going to shut up for a second. I'm going to yield back. My friend, as much as you want to give away, you don't have to. It's all good.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah,
good. It's all
yeah.
good. Also, everything all in between. I know you've had it right there the whole time at @U_Capper. But please, let us know everywhere we can follow you and everywhere we
Mhm.
consume your content because, my friend,
Yeah.
you make people better betters at the end of the day.
Yeah, so obviously at @U_Capper on Twitter. You can find me also on sportsmemo.com. I do an NBA show with John Ryan, called the Triple Double. That you can find that on YouTube, the Sports Memo channel there. I do a weekly show as well with Jay Money. Or Jay Money is Money, NBA Talks with Jay Money. And obviously a lot of my content on Twitter is free. And moving forward, I'm going to be having my own YouTube channel. I'm going to come out with a new show next month. Um, Hopefully sometime early next month or mid next month, but that's in the works here. I'm going to continue. I'm still on the Sports Memo roster. I'm going to continue being on their channel. I'm going to hopefully be on more wager talk shows too. I'm excited for that opportunity. But yeah, definitely I'm going to, taking some notes from a lot of these guys in this space right now, creating their own content, creating their channel, and building through that aspect. Man, a lot of these guys really, I look up to. I'm following their footsteps really. So that's one thing that people got to look forward to is this show here that I'm coming out. It's going to be called Let's Cap by UCapper. So that's the big thing that's coming out soon.
Let's go. Let's go. He dropped it on the show. Let's go. Hey, we got never before heard info right here on this show, my friends. I mean, they call that alpha in the NFT space. Shit you don't hear about. He's laughing because he's involved in it too. He knows what's up. So,
Yes, sir.
Ronald, man, from the bottom of my heart, dude, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, what you do for the sports gambling space, what you do for the NFT space, what you just do as a human being. Thank you for impacting lives, for just really having that mindset, man, because it's really hard to come across in this life. And I'm grateful that our paths crossed, my friend, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, 100%, man. I'm really glad we met there. I'm glad I did this show. Hopefully, we could do it again.
Absolutely. Hey, that's part of the deal, dog. You didn't read the contract that I sent you. After this whole deal, you're already signed up for a V2. You don't get to back out of that shit. So, I can't wait, man. We'll sign you back up. That one we'll get when we got some more action going on. I like to do the V2s, talking about more like from a capping perspective, but. Just
For
kind of
sure.
like from an open floor capping. So maybe pull up a board like, oh, hey, yeah, this is how I see this. This is what I would do. We've just done some interesting stuff. Like Andrew McKinnis, we popped up UFC last week and went through the whole
Yeah, I just
card.
saw that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So we had a blast, man. So just different things like that. That's my boy. I consider you one of my boys in the space now too. So we'll definitely
love it.
pencil in V2, my brother. But For now, you got a busy life. You got stuff to get on to. So all of you on the opposite side of that screen that decided to tune into Wise Words Season 3, Episode number 5 today, thank you guys so much from your humble host, Colton, Cap and Colt Soroka, and the legendary U-Capper, Ronald Cabang. Why is his last name Cabang? Because he's always blowing up sports books left, right, and center. Are you kidding me right now? All the damn time. It's not trademarked, Ron. Go ahead, feel free to use it, baby. But right here, right now, all of my friends out there, ladies and gentlemen, degenerates, gamblers far and wide, I hope you have a spectacular rest of your Wednesday, unless you have any other plans. And as per usual, my friends, let's cash
Yes, sir.
some tickets.